A few results. Actually, there is a report which is available at the web page. Is it right, Judith? If it is not yet, so it will be available. So we will circulate the link. So it would be nice to circulate the link to all the centers and also to the expert groups. And so I have just selected a few. And this is on responses what they have in the protocol for MRI in each center. And we differentiated routine examination and pre-surgical evaluation in children and adults. So you will see 4 slides which are quite similar in responses. So here you see a routine examination of children. Not all the centers perform volumetric T1, which is, I believe, recommended also for children, and some like 2/3 use volumetric FLAIR. I will come back to those volumetrics. In pre-surgical, most of the centers, but not all, use volumetric T1 and approximately the same number of volumetric FLAIR. The last 2 DTI MRI, they are just available. It does not mean that they are routinely performed in pre-surgical evaluation. In adults, the data are quite similar, except of having 100% use of volumetric T1. So here I would like to stress that we really would like you to go to your radiologist and to ask if the protocols are not optimal and are not compliant with the recent recommendations. So please go back to your radiologist and ask them to change the protocol. So we would really like to have all patients to have T1 volumetric sequence, and then if possible also FLAIR volumetric, at least for pre-surgical evaluation. For pre-surgical evaluation, this will be important for post-processing, as Kees will mention later on. This is also one of the deliverables actually of the network at the end.
No, I just wanted you not to forget. Can this come out as a written protocol from EpiCARE, led by you that did the survey officially on the paper, that we can all print and go to our institutions, to our departments and say, this is the protocol validated from the European Reference Network?
It will probably come from the recommendation paper of e-epilepsy.
Yeah, okay.
We have a systematic review on certain imaging aspects, and we can include the findings of the previous e-epilepsy survey and this one to come up with the advice.
I mean, independent of the publication, the fact that our institutions receive opinion recommendations from EpiCARE makes the re-event better known to the others of our institution, because we think everybody knows it, but the others don't. So
yeah.
If we do
So you would do a more open paper on surgery and non-surgical and non-surgical cases? Because I mean, I would not ask my radiologist maybe to do the same MRI when I have a patient with a KCNT1 and for the one where I'm looking for the focus. I don't know. It was a question basically.
Well, the paper that is going to be submitted this year is on pre-surgical evaluation, but we have an obligation to also think about the non-surgical patients, and I think as expert groups we will have to decide what kind of imaging protocols for what specific diagnostic patient cohort is to be advised. Now, whether or not this will be published as a paper, I'm not sure that's already in the deliverables. Is it for the non-surgical group? But we can consider.
We should have kind of guidelines on neuroimaging for both rare diseases and complex diseases, so not only pre-surgical. But I think we all agree that T1 volumetric acquisition should be everywhere.
Yeah. But I think that's how we use this network. We are a group of expert centres, as defined, and therefore we should use the brand ERN. If we all agree on the protocol, then that's what comes out as the EpiCARE protocol.
Sure.
We'll stop.
Okay, great. We will continue. Some centers even don't comply with the recommended slide thickness, so then they perform, if it is not volumetric, so they still do perform like 5 mm or it's not this recommended 3 or less. Okay. Coming to expert groups, so we asked on 3 type of experts. It was adult radiologists, pediatric radiologists, and people who are experts in post-processing. So we got responses from about 70 to 75% of centers usually with some proposals of names. And so here there are radiologists for adults listed, which are like 20 plus classes for UCL, which stated that there is a lot of experts and it depends on what was involved. So we can think it's about maybe 25. For pediatric, it's 21. And for post-processing, it's yeah, it was a price 50%. So it's much more. And here we already have some core group which consists of the Prague, Utrecht, and Gosh experts, and Kees will mention this later on. In post-processing, so this, of course, can be extended, and I will.
Okay, very briefly, as you all know, if we're talking about post-processing, this is particularly for the pre-surgical group to detect FCDs in the MRI negative patients, and this is a sequel of the e-epilepsy working package. I already had the goal to provide this consortium and the EpiCARE consortium with an online tool for post-processing if you don't have it available. You all know that voxel-based morphometry is the most widely used and also validated technique in the pre-surgical analysis. It's been done with a program which is called Morphometry Analysis Program MEP07. It's been validated several times, particularly 2 years ago in the Cleveland Clinic, where they showed that in the presumed MRI negative cases, actually this kind of post-processing would yield a possible lesion in 45% of the patients. And if there is concordance between the resected area and the MEP lesion defined, there's a very high seizure freedom rate after surgery. Whereas if there is a MEP lesion that was not or not fully resected, the seizure outcome was very poor. So this shows the added value of morphometry, voxel-based morphometry in the analysis of possible FCD candidates. So the goal was to provide you with an online access to this kind of post-processing tools and to collect a control scan from different centers, different scanners, different field strengths on the same IT platform. And we agreed last year that we would ask Compumedics, the company that installed and implemented Curry on the IT platform of the epilepsy ERN, to also implement in Curry a MEP07. But MEP07 by itself is not commercially available. So we asked them to develop their own morphometry program, which is very similar to the MEP07 that is available. And actually they did so, and I will just show you the current status. We have heard last December from Compumedics that the first version of MEP is now implemented in Curry. Few of the steps necessary for post-processing were already part of the software available in Curry, but they are now developing new algorithms that is necessary for this kind of post-processing analysis. And just to show you that it worked, we provided the company with a series of 29 MRI positive FCD patients, and even without sending them a control cohort, they used the controlational hemisphere as a presumed normalized or control hemisphere to calculate with map the images that is needed in relation to a template to detect cortical blurring, gray matter, white matter blurring. And actually, with only this limited data set, they achieved, by doing so, I'll just give you a few examples where you can see here the significant area of blurring of the gray-white matter, and going back then to the original T1 image, you can see the blurring that is already visible. So this is a well-known technique, and it yields similar results to the MEP07 that is available for most of our centers on an individual basis already. So for now, we will provide Compumedics with bigger groups of patients, with also control groups. We will try to collect control healthy volunteers from different scanners and different field strengths, and then we will have a look at how this will affect sensitivity and specificity of lesion detection with the Compumedics Curry MAP program. And then finally, if we have optimized this MAP program in Curry, we will validate this technique by comparing it with the existing MAP 07 and looking at patients with histologically proven FCD as a golden standard and look for specificity and sensitivity. And if we have achieved doing so, and I hope we can finish this in the coming year, then we can make the software freely available through Curry on the IT platform so that all of you can use it. In parallel, there's an important initiative from the London group, which is called the MELD project. Stands for Multi-Center Epilepsy Lesion Detection Project. It's run by Sophie Adler under supervision of Torsten Bolderweg, I think, isn't it? And Michael Carmichael. David Carmichael, I'm sorry. And this is another approach, actually. It's not based on voxel-based morphometry, it's based on surface-based morphometry. And they have trained an artificial neural network classifier using patients, children actually, with an FCD from Great Ormond Street Hospital and controls. And this classifier has been able to use this kind of surface-based approaches to actually detect focal cortical dysplasias. And they want to expand this initiative by asking groups to collaborate with them. And this means that centers that are interested in this can actually download the code that they use, so they can replicate the work and they can on-site use a kind of pre-processing to analyze their scans. This data will then be sent to London, where in this way a very large pool of FCD patients and control patients can be collected to further train this classifier for FCD detection. And once that's been done, the classifier by itself can be downloaded and used on-site in the individual center to look for individual patient abnormalities. So this is another approach, and it's still in a research setting, but we foresee that in a few years' time, together with the morphometry-based analysis, this surface-based approach can be made available online. So you have two different ways, tools to post-process imaging data in a pre-surgical situation. So this is also an invitation for all of you who are interested in this technique to mail Sophie Adler. You can see her email address below. We can also mail around to you some more information about your project. So it's possible to participate in this project, and by doing so you will also be a subgroup of the Enigma epilepsy that is like an umbrella covering also this project. So a few...
Yeah, just a few words so that we are in need to have normative data. In a survey we asked centers if they can provide us with some data about the controls, so which was responded positively by about 30 or 40% of centers. So we will come back to those who responded, and we are trying to solve some not only technical but also ethical and regulatory issues. So there is a question because we asked about the GDPR interpretation of the MRI data, and we got a response at our institution that MRI data is not personal or biometric data. So then we should not be very much obsessed about GDPR in this case, but this has to be validated by other institutions as well in other countries. The same is for ethical issues. If we need a specific informed consent, or if we just can take the informed consent which has been used for the first data acquisition. The crucial question is about the location of such a normative data database. And probably this will not be possible at the CPMS server of ERN. There's no other option actually offered by ERN at the moment. So if there is nothing, so we will use the offer of Philippe and use the lockdown server, and the data will be placed there. Just to summarize what are the year 2 deliverables, but we will work on the post-processing. We will work with the expert groups as well, but this is what we should deliver at month 24. And there is open next publication on imaging standards and guidelines. So of course we would like to use the publications coming out from the previous epilepsy project. And then it would be nice to have a guideline or consensus statement, as has been already discussed in metabolic and genetic, on the use of neuroimaging, but I'm not sure we are going to achieve this within this year. And then the secure neuroimaging database will be this one already mentioned for normal controls. Thank you.
Time for one quick question, because we had some discussion during it. I have to say, from my own, and even within the UK, to get a standard protocol, we had 4 neuroradiologists in a room, pediatric neuroradiologists, and we eventually got them to agree on the standard protocol. But they said there's no standard protocol that's disseminated, which means the children arrive in our centre with suboptimal scans and you end up repeating them, which isn't great for them, and it's not great for resources either.
Everywhere.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll move on and we'll have a session. Thank you very much. Okay, so EEG, sound good?